Hi, this is Patty at pattypost.nl/en with the astrology of February 2019. And I do hope you have recovered from all the moon madness that we experienced in January. Especially that full moon with eclipse was quite strong, and it did show its effects not only in my life, but also in the lives of the people around me and also the lives of my clients. It was really quite strong. And we go on to February. And starting this month, and actually the whole of this month, we still have all the planets in direct motion. And this is not a unique phenomenon, but it's also not very common either. And basically, the last half of 2018 had a bit of a dragging feel with so many planets moving retrograde. And none of the planets are retrograde, still not in the month of the whole of February. So we can enjoy this forward feel this whole month, perfect for moving on your projects, anything you are working on, and anything you want to manifest in your life. So we still have this energy the whole of February. It only stops next month in March when Mercury turns retrograde. So enjoy this forward feeling. And we begin the month quite strong anyway, because, and actually quite tense, since Mars at 21 degrees of the sign of Aries is making a square aspect to Pluto at 21 degrees of the sign of Capricorn. While Mars is still super strong in its own sign is Aries, and combining this assertive energy with the power and power play of the planet of Pluto, this is astrological fireworks, and it's great for drive, it's great for focus, and in a lesser expression it can also show up as anger or pushing through too hard, or even power play. And then on the 4th of the month, we have the new moon of this month at 10:03 p.m. Here in the Netherlands, and that's Central European time, and 1:03 p.m. Pacific time. So it depends a bit on where you live in the world. And the new moon takes place at 15 degrees and 45 minutes of the sign of the rebel Aquarius. And this new moon still breathes that energy of the tension between Mars and Pluto. And actually also the planet of Uranus is starting to interfere here. And since Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius, and so also the ruler of this new moon, the whole Aquarius-Uranus theme is extremely strong. And this is about freedom, authenticity, individuality. It's the feeling of, where is my life not mine? We don't want the things they were anymore. We want to change things. And Uranus is shaking things up. We call him the Great Awakener. And the danger with all of this rebellious energy is that we start to rebel just to rebel. And then we become the rebel without a cause, which is usually not very contributing to making constructive and positive changes in your life and in the world. So this is quite an interesting new moon. And new moon energy is great for setting intentions, as it is always a new beginning for us. And what I personally do is I always write my intentions down in the 6 hours after the exact new moon. And when you look up in your own personal birth chart, where 15 and 45 degrees of the sign of Aquarius falls, you can narrow this down and make it so much more personal. And not only at this new moon, but actually almost the whole year of 2019, we have this dance between Jupiter in Sagittarius and Neptune in Pisces. And this is the energy of expansion, idealism, vision, and the feeling of, yes, I am bigger than this. And it's great positive energy to make positive changes and changes in your life. But of course, it can also backfire on us, and Neptune can make our vision a bit foggy, and that can result in illusions or even delusions. And Jupiter can make you feeling larger than life, making you maybe a bit too trustful in yourself or blowing up your ego. So always be aware of the more negative sides of these energies. But again, it's very dreamy, expanding energy. And it's this aspect is quite an interesting match with all the strong Capricorn energy that we have most of this year, actually the whole of this year. And I am noticing this really in my own life. It's this notion of expanding and contracting at the same time. I feel I can expand so much and accomplish a lot in this year. And at the same time, I feel a little bit too tight in my skin sometimes. And always very helpful astrology because the main purpose of these aspects is integration. So integration of these energies can give you an opportunity to make your dreams come true, for instance, making the practical steps to put your dream into manifestation. And so this energy will be with us the whole of this year, and so that gives some interesting results. On the 13th of February, we have Mars and Uranus coming together at 29 of the sign of Aries, 29 degrees. And the last degree of a sign is, how we call that in astrology, the critical sign, because it's like the conclusion, the culmination of a planet in the sign, just before it goes over to the next one, making it very, very strong. And Mars and Uranus together is very strong in itself, with the opportunity to unleash genius potential. It's about innovation, and at the same time, it can also mean enormous frustration. So be warned about this aspect. And a day later, Mars will move on to Taurus. And that takes out the heat, the Aries heat a bit. And we will probably need it, calming down and steadily moving forward, manifesting things in our lives. So on the 14th, Mars will move into Taurus, and it will give that more calming feel. Then another sign change, Chiron. And after many, many years in the sign of Pisces, Chiron is now definitely moving on to the sign of Aries. And Chiron, the archetype of the wounded healer, invites us in transit. And transit means where Chiron is in the zodiac right now. It invites us to heal, to make ourselves whole. And where the first degrees of Aries fall in your personal chart, mark the life area where Chiron operates in the coming time, triggering your healing. And if you are like me, around 49, 50 years old, you will also experience your Chiron return shortly. And that's Chiron moves then to a place, the same place where it was when you were born, closing a cycle and giving an opportunity to really move on. On the 19th of February, the sun moves into dreamy Pisces, and a couple of hours later, we have the full moon at 0 degrees and 42 minutes of the sign of Virgo. Here in the Netherlands, Central European time, it will take place at 4:53 p.m. And this is another full moon at 0 degrees of a sign. And we already had a few of these in the last couple of months, and they create quite an interesting phenomena because full moons are about closure, endings, putting things into full manifestation. Because this full moon is also falling on 0 degrees of a sign, Virgo in this case, it also breathes the energy of a new beginning. And this is for me the fascinating energy of 2019 so far. Everything happening at the same time. Expansion, contraction, old, new. It's such an interesting mix of energies. And this full moon is also, again, a super moon, which means it's very close to the earth and also bigger if you look at the night sky. So 0 degrees of Virgo. Virgo is the sign that is so focused on growth, always perfecting things, making things better. Great energy to also in your own life think about your own efficiency and effectiveness. What skills do you maybe still need to move on and to grow? Not falling into the classic Virgo trap of feeling not good enough. It's about the joy of growth. And Virgo, like I said, is also about efficiency and effectiveness. And maybe if you weren't already infected by the Marie Kondo virus, now could be the time to start. This lovely Japanese lady helping us to clean up our lives. So, such an interesting month again. Be careful not to get yourself carried away and create mess in your own life and in the world with all these almost volatile energies. When we find ways to integrate this, so many beautiful and new things are possible, and that is exactly what I wish for you. So, wishing you a wonderful month and hope to see you next time. Bye.